Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Sue. Thanks for being here. If you're new here, I'm so glad you found me and I hope you get some inspiration from me. So today I'm starting a new series called Start Simple, Finish Fancy, where I take one piece of ephemera, like say a tag or a journaling card, pocket, envelope, whatever it may be, and show you how to create it in multiple styles. So we'll start with a very basic version that's quick and beginner friendly, and then I'll show you how you can step it up a little bit, adding more texture and layers, maybe some stitching, different embellishments, all the fun things that make our journals uniquely ours. So it sort of opens it up to, we have a lot of people that are starting out their junk journal journey and only just starting to, gather supplies, that sort of thing. So I'm just, as I said, start basic and then we can build from there. So if you like to keep it simple, that's great. Or if you like to go all out with your creativity, there should be some inspiration for everyone at every level. Okay, so what you'll need is, and this I'm using up my huge amount of 12-inch papers, and this is good to use up. This particular one that I'm doing today is good to use up probably some of those papers that you don't particularly love. See, I love this side, but not so much this side. I mean, it would have its place, but yeah. So if you've got double-sided papers that you like, both sides, so let me just show you, say maybe here, there's this side I like and then this side that I like. So that looks really, really crooked when I look at that. I'm just going to have a look. It's actually not too bad. I don't know why it looks so crooked, but anyway, so you're looking at double-sided, so probably both sides that you don't mind. Same with this. I don't mind this. I probably wouldn't use it so much, but when you see what we're going to do, you'll only see a fraction of that. If you've got single-sided papers, that's okay as well. All right, so that's going to be your base. Now you also need something that you can actually put on as a journaling spot on this piece of ephemera. So either side of that will work. You could have that, not so much that. So that's just this one that I just showed you, but you could use this. So you want it so that you can do some journaling. So we're making basically journaling cards today. Okay, now I just need to have a quick look. I got this from this idea from True Joy Home and Studio. I will put her YouTube channel down below. I just loved the look of these little journal cards that you did, and I just thought that she did, sorry, that I'm not, maybe her name is Joy, I'm not sure. I did try to find out what her name was, but she didn't say in any of the videos that I watched. So True Joy Home and Studio is the name of the channel, and I just love these little cards as they were, just very basic, but I thought you can make them that little bit more interesting, I think. So grab some 12-inch papers, single-sided or double-sided. I thought I may even use, see, this has got like plain on the back that will be really good for journaling spots. I don't particularly love these papers. I don't know why I even bought this pad, to be honest, because it's paper, probably, knowing me. I just love paper, but I just wanted to give you a bit of an idea what you could grab. Now also, if you are like me as well, I hardly ever use 6x6 paper pads, but I buy them. I don't know why, but this is a really good, easy way to use up some of your 6x6 collection books as well. So go and grab some of your papers and head on back and we'll get started. Okay, I hope you've got your papers. So basically, let me show you what we're going to be making. Okay. So this is just the very basic version, and it's just a journaling card. So what I've done is I've cut a 3x4-inch piece of paper out of a 12-inch sheet. It had this on the back, which I don't mind so much. And then all I've done is I've put a journaling spot on the front of it. Okay, so that's your very basic version. Then I've stepped it up a little bit more, and what I've done is the same thing, but in a 4x6 size. So this is 4x6 and 3x4. Sorry, let me put my teeth back in. 4x6 and 3x4 are great sizes when you're using up these sort of pads. So you can do 3x4. You'd only get one 6x4 out of here, but you also need some of the papers to punch out some tabs. Now I have this tab punch here from Stampin' Up. If you don't have that one, that's fine. You can use any tab. You can even just put a ruffle on the top. You don't have to have a tab as such, or you can just put a little square. Totally up to you. Just whatever takes your fancy. Okay, so basic. So we're going to step it up a little bit more. I've left the back of it plain this time, just the paper, no journaling spot, because I mean you can still write on there and be able to see it, or add a photo. But this time I've just torn the page, the journaling spot here a little bit, added a die cut and a label. So that's just taking it one step further. Okay, and then we've gone, so you can like take this 3 steps, 4 steps, whatever. So this time I've used the same paper. I've got a journaling spot on the back. I've torn the paper here on the journaling spot. I've added a die cut. This time I've added a little bit of cheesecloth and a label. So done basically the same here, but what I've done is I've stepped it up a bit and I've put an eyelet in. I've used a fishing swivel here, and I've added a charm. So still, you know, not anything it's not rocket science or anything like that, but it just steps it up. If you have a look, this is what we started with, and this is the last one that we've got. Okay, so let's get started and we'll do one. So basically what you've got to do is, so what I might do is just use a 12-inch sheet, and you can cut them whatever size you want. So I just did random. I didn't even really think about it. So obviously your sheet's 12 inches, so you're going to get 6 inches if you cut it in half. All right, let's do that. We'll cut the sheet in half. 6 inches, okay. And then, so we want journaling cards to be 6x4. So we'll do 2 like that. So there we have 2 bases, okay. Fairly plain, that's okay, but it's, you know, like brighter on the back. So I'm putting my journal bases here and my journaling spots in this one. So we've got another piece here that is 6x4. So let's make this, cut this in half, and then you'll have two 3x4 bases. 3x4. Okay. Now, sorry, bases, that's it. Now we can use this here as a journaling spot as well. So with your journaling spots, you want to cut your a little bit smaller, obviously, than your base. I'm just taking the glue off the top of that. And you know what? If they're not perfectly 6x4, it doesn't matter either. You can do these any size you like. So for 6x4 card bases, we need to cut the journaling spot 3.5 by 5.5. Well, that's what I've done, and it just, you know what I've done there? I don't know what I've done there. I've messed that up. 3.5 by 5.5. Just trying to get one to show you. Maybe one that you can see better. Okay, so 3.5 by 5.5. So it just sort of has a nice little border around it. Yeah, so 6x4. Cut your journaling spot 3.5 by 5.5, and your 3x4 journaling spot, cut it 2.5 by 3.5. Okay, so I hope you got those measurements. All right, so that's that done. Easy. All right, so then with any scraps, like I would normally cut all this down, but as you can see, I have prepared so that the video isn't hours and hours long. But cut up as many as you like, and I think some of my papers I'll be doing this because these are great little cards that you can just pop in pockets, pop in you know, envelopes, that sort of thing. You could even use them as gift cards if you wanted to. So I'm not going to cut any more up. I've given you the measurements, so we'll just go from there. Okay. All right, so when you've done all that up, you'll also need to cut out some tabs or find something that you want to use as tabs. I've just cut a heap out of the papers that I've used, and I've inked around them as well. I've inked around all of the journaling spots, or most of the journaling spots, as you can see. Okay, some of them I got a bit excited when I was distressing them, and I've torn them, so I've just added a little bit of age tape, the Tim Holtz age tape. So that's the journaling spots that I've done. And then also I've just decided, as part of the stepping up and making them a little bit more fancy, I have actually sewn around some, which we will use when we add them to them going forward. Okay, all right, so let's just start. We'll start with, say, a 6x4, and I'm going to use one that I have already inked up. I like both sides here, so I don't really need to do anything. If you get a page that you really despise the back of, you can always glue two together. Now this paper that I'm using is pretty flimsy, but once we start adding journaling spots, it's going to really make it quite a sturdy card. Okay, so what I need to do now is I'm going to find two journaling spots that I like. And see what I mean? You lose a lot of the card because this pretty paper here is going to be hidden, but you can still see it on the outside. Gives you a little bit of a hint. And I'm just having a bit of a look. See, you could even just leave that blank, which I think I will on this one, and then just put that on that one. So we're going to keep it really simple for this one. So we need a tab. And I think I had some of these tabs cut out with this paper. Let me just have a look here. Here's one. Okay, so what I ended up doing, a little bit different to what I'm going to call her Joy. I really apologize if she does see this video and her name is not Joy, but what Joy did was she just glued the tabs down wherever, and that's fine, that's not a problem. But what I wanted to do was have my tab match each side of the paper. So all I'm going to do is just cut that in half, and as I said, this isn't necessary, you don't have to do that, but I just wanted this to match that side and for it to match that side, if that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this tab down. So do your tab first. I just found that then your journaling spot actually covers part of that, and it doesn't matter where you put it. I'm going to put it on this side now remembering this is going to be my front, and this is going to be the back side. And again, what I'm going to do is just glue this and match it up with this tab. So we have the same paper on both sides. That's what I meant. So that tab matches there and that tab matches there. Easy. Okay. Now this is the journaling spot that I decided to use. And as I said, this is our very basic version. So I'm going to glue it down. Easy as that. And then we have a journaling card. You could mass make these and just have them sitting there and grab them when you need them. So I'm just using a glue stick, and then I'm just going to put some art glitter glue around the edges. Main reason I'm doing that is because some of the papers are quite thin and I didn't want the art glitter glue, having trouble with my words today, aren't I, sort of leaving lines through the whole card. So how simple is that? And quite a cute little card. You know, that's a 6x4. You could do a matching one in the 3x4 paper if you've got it as well. So there's our very basic version. And this is really perfect as well if you're in a hurry or you're just starting out, you know, you've got 10 minutes or something. You know, why not make a couple of containers, cut down some of the papers that you know that you won't ever really use, cut down some of your papers, have them ready. You've got 10 minutes to spare. You want to do a bit of creating. There you go. Version 1 done. Very cute. All right, so that's one. Okay, let's go on to version 2. So this time I'm going to add just a little bit more detail. All right, so I might do a 3x4. I do like the 6x4 size. What have I got in here? So same thing, like I probably would have cut way more, but I just thought, well, I just wanted to get on and show you what I was doing and just have a play. But I'm definitely going to go through some of my 6-inch paper pads and 12-inch papers and cut down some and have these ready to go. Maybe sit down one day and do a real mass make of them. I think that would be really great. So with this paper, we've got this on the back, so it's very understated. So you could just leave that, and that's probably what I'm going to do today, is just leave this because you could easily journal on that and still see some of that really lovely pattern coming through. This is the one that I thought was crooked. I don't know. Must be my eyes today, I think. So I've just really roughly inked around that. If you don't like inking, that's fine. You don't have to do that either. Okay, so it's a shame to cover up that pretty side as well, isn't it? I mean, we could do the journaling spot on here if we wanted to, but I'm going to have just a few pops of colour coming out on my side. I'm getting myself all confused. These are my journaling spots that I've pre-prepared. Now that's a little bit too heavy for me for that colour. So I'm going to go back here and use one of these. So see what I mean? You don't see much of the card, but you still get little hints of colour coming through, and I like that. All right, so I'm going to choose that. I also want to choose a tab. And I don't think I have one that perfectly matches that. Let me have a look. No. And that's okay. Let's just use this one, and it's sort of like it's got the pink and the vintage sort of colour in there as well. We might just ink around that, and this one we're not going to cut, we'll just fold it over to the back side. Okay, so I'm just going to glue this down. I don't know, let's glue it in the middle. There's no rhyme nor reason, it's just making it look a little bit different. We don't want them all sitting on the left side or the right side, so we'll just mix it up a bit. Okay, so I'm just going to put that there like that, bring that around to the front, and it's off the middle anyway. That's okay. That's what files look like, don't they? Ink the fold there, and you can see that it sort of all blends in nicely with the back there as well. All right, now I'm going to glue, now that I've got the tab on, I'm going to glue this on. And we're going to just step it up that next stage with a little bit of decoration. And there's our journaling spot. Okay, so we're going to add some decoration to here. And I'm not sure, I might actually just grab some floral pieces since this is sort of hinting at florals. As I said, I'm leaving that blank. You could add, actually that's quite nice, isn't it? that's stepping it up one step further though. It's got sewing. Let me have a look. Actually, I don't mind that. I'm going to actually put that on the back there. I can hear people yelling at me, no, that's such nice paper you're covering up. You know what? It's been sitting in my shelf for years and years and it's getting used. So I'm just grateful that I'm using it up and not hoarding it. This is only as limited as your imagination. Okay, so you can just take this totally to extreme and decorate it within an inch of its life if you like. But as I said, if you want to do something quick and basic, there's no reason why you can't even pre-prepare your cards and then come back in later and decorate them if you need to leave them for a specific journal, and then you can decorate them to the theme then. I mean, that's a great way. You've got something already started. Okay, so I'm just going to put the two basic ones there. Okay. Okay, so I grabbed some 49er Market laser cuts. Here I grabbed some that have got the pink or the blue in them because I thought that they would go nicely, but now looking at them, they're quite big, aren't they? Let me just see if we've got a smaller one on here. Okay, here's a smaller. So we could do either. I'm going to very carefully pop this pink one out. And I'll also pop out the blue one if I can get it. I love these laser cut botanicals, but I'm so rough with them. All right, so we can do either or here. See, that's quite pretty. We could do that. I'll show you what I've done here. This one I've done the same as I've done it to the right. So if I wanted to maybe just do something different, it doesn't matter. I could do that one. I don't like it as much though. So I'm going to do it with the floral piece to the right. What I love about these is I'm not thinking too much about them. I'm just going to stick them down, and you can always add more decoration once you get to use them in your journal. So even with this little floral here, there's still plenty of room to journal. So let's stick that down. Once again, still very basic if you're a beginner, but it's just dressing up your ephemera piece a little bit more. Got glue everywhere. Don't be like Sue and use too much glue. Okay, so let's have a look at the difference. I mean, even just that has made a huge difference from basic and very simple to dressing it up a little bit more. But let's add a tag. I love tags, and I'm using some not tags, what do you call them, labels. I'm using some labels from Tracy Fox. There's a heap here that I have stamped out using her stamps and some of her digitals, and I've just picked this one up straight away. I like that. And I'm just going to place it down there over the base of that floral. Okay, what do you think? So very basic, very simple, and then we've just stepped it up a little bit more with a little bit of decoration. I love them. I think they are just beautiful, just something a bit different. And as I said, so easy just to pop in a pocket or an envelope, or you could even make these flip outs on, or tip-ins, or whatever you want to call them, in your journals. And then for this one, I'm just going to leave that one blank, but you could also add something if you wanted to. Why not? Let's do it. We'll do this on the back. Since I pulled the pink one out, we may as well put it on as well. I'll put it on the left side. I like adding them too so that they go over onto the base card, not just on the journaling spot. I've got a tiny little tag. What have we got here? That one will do. Let's ink around the edge. And we're just going to add that there. How cute is that? So step 1, and then we've gone step 2. I've done no journaling spot on there. I've done a journaling spot on the back here, and I've also decorated it. So I've even taken it a step further from this one. So you could say step 2 and then step 3, whichever way you want to look at it. And then, I mean, these, you can easily decorate, you know, the smaller sizes too. I think I'm just doing the larger sizes because it's easier for you to see on the video. All right, so we're going to step it up again now. We're going to make it a little bit more fancy than what we've done here. Okay. You can always add, you know, you could do a small little collage on your journaling cards as well, you know, do a little bit of book page or something as a backing, a little collage, just to, you know, layer some labels or that sort of thing, depending on the theme that you're going for, you know, it's totally up to you. All right, so we're now going to step it up a bit to the 3rd level, and this one is, I have just added a charm. All right, so I'm going to do a larger one again. So here's another really pretty one, and it's got this on the back. I don't absolutely love it, so I think we'll probably end up putting a journaling spot on the back of there as well. Now I need to find a tab to match, so this is the same, and same thing, I'm going to cut it so that we have the same color, like so, this on the front and then the maroony color on the back, so that it matches up. Okay, so I'm going, you don't have to do that. I said you don't have to do that. Just how my brain works. All right, so we'll put it on the end here. Just make sure I'm putting the right side on. I mean, there's no reason why we can't even do this. Let's do it on the side. Let's be rebels, hey? Let's do it on the side, and then that cut piece, we're going to have the maroon part showing. And we're just going to match that up. Match it up as best we can. Going to ink that edge, that cut edge. Okay, so we've got one with a tab on the side. All right, so we're going to choose our journaling spots. What will we use? See, once again, that's just a little bit too heavy for me, but I think on the back it would be okay. So let's glue that on the back. You could just use coffee dough paper as your journaling spot as well. You could use book page. You could use book page and gesso over it, so you've got a nice journaling spot. See, I quite like that on that maroon. And then I think we'll choose one of these softer ones here for this, for the front. What else have we got here? Got a bit of a, actually like that darker one there. Okay, so let's take it another little step further and let's add some vintage faux tape. Now these are all just ideas. It's totally up to you what you do. This is just using supplies that I have. You use what you've got. So we've just added a little bit more decoration there. I think I'm going to glue that one on. Let's glue that one on there. And then we're going to do a little bit of decorating. Now, these I've made a journal for my son and daughter-in-law, and these are some bits left over. So I thought I'll just grab these out as well. See if there's anything that I want to use in these. So, I mean, we could go the whole hog, you know. We could add something like this. I like that. So I'm just going to try and lift this a little bit to stick this under, and I like how it's even hanging out the side here. I'm going to do that. So this is just really random, just grabbing what I've got and just decorating. You could use real lace, and I don't even mind how that looks from the back. That sort of goes with that. I do need to add a little bit more glue in the back there though, so that that stays down. And we'll add, what if we do, we could even just do like a cluster of tags or something, labels. What do you think? I'm going to ink around this. What else have we got in here? I don't know, what do you think? We could even do something like that, and there's no reason why we couldn't add like a butterfly or something up the top. These are sort of, they're a chipboard, sort of like a chipboard. I don't know whether I want to. We could put that. I don't mind that. I'm just going to do it. And then we'll just do this little cluster here, if I can remember how I've done it. It's always the problem, isn't it? When you lay it out and you put it down, you think, yep, that looks nice. I need to take a photo with my phone, but you're up there, so I can't. Okay. And you know what? If it doesn't look exactly the same, doesn't matter. This isn't real thread, it's actually just card. So I'm going to try and dab a little bit of glue to catch that down, because otherwise with it going in and out of a pocket, it's going to get damaged. So still, you know, still space for journaling. It's so crooked. It's too late. The glue has stuck. And I don't think it's exactly where I had it, but that's okay. And then we will stick this little fella here, I think. Add a little bit of ink onto the top of that as well, so it's not quite as white. You know what, I'm going to add a little bit of foam tape on that. Just to pop it up a little bit. And these are just pop dots from Kmart, so I just like to add a little bit of glue just for added security, because I don't want anything coming off. They feel sticky enough, but that's just me. Normally I would wait for the glue to dry, but for the sake of the video, I will keep going. So there's just a little layer of labels and tags, a little heart. How cute is that? I absolutely love it. Same thing, you could still use this as a flip out, and we could decorate the back, but I think I'm just going to leave the back as it is. So that's stepping it up one step further. I'm also going to add a eyelet. Now I'm just using what I've got. I've got no O-rings or anything that match necessarily with everything, and that's okay. It's a junk journal, so I'm not going to stress about it too much. Just got to find my crocodile. Gonna punch a hole in that tab, set an eyelet. I don't know whether it's the eyelets lately or whether I'm doing something wrong. I'm using my crocodile the exact same way that I always do. I think it's these eyelets that I've purchased, but they just get stuck. They're just a little bit smaller than, and yes, I know that's probably not what or how you should use your crocodile, but I don't have a hammer, so I'm improvising. So we can hang whatever we like. Now, what I don't know why I was wandering through the fishing aisle at Kmart the other day. Well, we've still got no kitchen at the moment, so I think it was when I was looking for a decent size bucket to wash up in, and I found these swivels, and I like them because, I don't know, with I always find with the bulb pins and that, your charms always get stuck. So see how easily these swivel, whereas your bulb pin, you know, it's hard to sort of flick it back over if it flips. So all I've done is I've just added split pins top and bottom, which is what I'll do. And what have I done with them? I've got such a mess on my desk. I know I say that all the time, but you would die if you saw how I was trying to work. So these, I don't have any black ones. Doesn't matter. I've got a silver eyelet, so I'm going to just use silver split rings. And just use some pliers. to split that open, and all I do is I just put that through the eyelet. I just need to split it open a bit more. And then we'll close it again. Okay, so that's that end, and then we're going to add a charm or something. I don't know, I just grabbed a few out. So we've got good times, memories. Do we do a word? We could do journey or imagine, or we could put one of these charms on it. I think I like one of them just for something different. They match the swivel actually. And so I just get our other split ring. These are actually soft enough, you don't have to use 2 sets of pliers, and I'm just going to slip that on there. And there we have a beautiful fancied up journaling card. Okay, so there we have, we've stepped up a level. So basic, very basic, decorated slightly, fancied up, and we're going to do one more, and we're going to go the full glam here. So pop them there. All right, I'm going to stick with the 6x4, so we're going to go the full glam. Obviously I've just cut a few bits and pieces for this video, so you could have a whole range of different colors and styles of paper. So you just see me repeating these at the moment, but that's okay. All right, so same thing. Let's fold our tab in half. Let's cut that. And we're going to glue it down. We're going to grab the journaling spot. We're going to even fancy up a little bit more. So I have pre-prepared some journaling spots with stitching on them. Clearly not many. That's my choices, but that's okay. Luckily it matches. So that's another step. So you can add stitching. If you don't have a sewing machine, you can put faux stitching around, or you can even get rub-ons or stamps with stitching on them. Okay, so let's have a look. I love that paper. I am going to add a journaling spot there though. So we've got stitching, we've got aged tape. Okay, getting ahead of myself here. There we go. So I'm going to leave the back side of that as is. It's glammed up a bit with the stitching and the tape. Now this side, because I've got a fairly plain journaling spot, I'm thinking I might even add a little bit of not journaling, a little bit of stamping in the background, so that sort of adds another element, another dimension. So I'm just going to grab a couple of stamps. Alrighty, I grabbed, I don't know, I didn't go choosing too much, sorry, that's my phone making noise there. I just grabbed a couple that I thought I might be able to use. So I just thought maybe adding a little bit of texture, because there is that like marbled look, maybe some of this crackle texture on the background. So this is a Heidi Swap stamp. I subscribe to her stamp society. Every month I get a new stamp, which is nice. And I think I'm just going to use, I've been inking with this Distress ink, which is walnut stain, but I don't know. I'm just going to grab a bit of paper. I don't know whether I want, and I haven't used this before either, so I'm just going to give it a bit of a rub to prime it. Just want to see how this stamps. Okay. I think I only want it, I don't know, second. What do you call that? There you go. So I don't want it too bold. So I'm just going to lightly stamp it on my paper. And I don't know whether you can see. It just gives a little bit of dimension. Very subtle. Second generation stamping, that's what it's called. Look at that, love it. Okay, so I've done that. So that's that. Then I thought maybe we could do some shadows with these and then add a floral. Just excuse me, I'll deal with this phone. Thinking maybe shadowing this one. Let's see, maybe that one. And maybe this one. And then I can put like a floral, an actual floral image on there. So I need a stamp block. And same thing, what I'm going to do is just probably a second generation stamping. So I'm going to ink it up. This is a good way to make sure your stamps work as well. So yeah, second generation. I just want it as like a shadow. I don't want it being too bold. So I'm just going to stamp this here. So you can see there's just a little bit of texture in the background there. If you hear a big bang, I've got a big craft lunch beside me, just about to fall. I'm going to bring it in there. I don't know, hopefully you can see. So I think I'll do just, actually, just going to bring just down from the top as well. Okay, that's cute. I like that. And then I'm going to bring in, oh, here it is. Told you I had a mess everywhere. I think I'm going to bring this in just on top. So it looks a little bit like a field, I guess. Didn't stamp very well, did that? What do you think? I don't know. I think it looks cute. All right. So that's that. Let's just stamp this one here on the back. I'm just thinking, and I'm going to leave him a little bit darker. Just so it's got something on the back there. Okay, that's nice. All right. So that's stamped. You can add coffee rings, you can add, I mean, look at that. That's just changed the whole look of that completely. I even like that as it is, but I am going to go further. Okay, so I want to put a floral, I think, here, or maybe even over here. Alrighty. So I'm going to cut this down. Do I want these layered over top of these stamps that I've done? That might even look nice. I think I like that. It's very, very subtle, isn't it? No, that covers up too much of the... What I might do is I'll stick this down because it's just moving every time I try and place it down. I love how subtle that is. It's just so beautiful, isn't it? I love it as it is. I just don't think they're right. I think I need to have a bit more of a look. See, look, here's this lace again. Is this lace going to be too much? We could even add real lace. See, if you don't have a tab punch, you could use something like this. If you've got some ephemera pieces with tabs, you could use those as well. Oh, guys, I'm stuck. Okay, what have we got here? I've got some birds I cut out the other day. I think they'd be too big, though. Although he does look pretty cute there. I could add that. And then have him sitting. And I mean, it's a junk journal, isn't it? It's not, doesn't have to be true to size. What do we think? Nope, don't like that. Okay, I'm just going to have a look for some more florals. Oh my goodness, guys, I have literally no pink florals left. If you know me by now, I love pink, and I've pretty much used all of them up. Looks like I need to go shopping. So I'm just going to use what I have. I thought even some of these greens might be nice on there. But see, if I use anything too big, I'm going to take away from there. So I really need to have something over here, don't I? So let's go with this one. It's like a fern of some sort. If I can get in there. Oh, well, that was more difficult than it needed to be. So we could probably even do that. I don't mind that. So it looks like a, you know, a floral piece. Or you could journal in here. You could even journal over that and still see that coming up behind there. So I'm not going to try and overthink it too much. I'm going to just get it down. Still nice and subtle and understated, I think. Okay, so let's just dress this up a little bit. Just saw this here and I quite like that, so I'm going to ink that up. Here it is here. Add that there. What else have we got in here that takes my fancy? I just love 49 a market. Here's even like this would have been cute. Do we do that as well? Oh, we're going the full glam. Why not? We may as well just really overdo it. Pretty it up. Now I think we need bigger lace across the bottom. This is what happens. What's on the back there? There's this one. What do we got on the back? Doesn't really matter, I don't think. All right, let's... Oh boy, I'm getting a big mess here. Let's just cut some of this across here like that. Then it brings in the blue here too of the flower. I like how the other one that I did before came off the page, off the card. So I'm going to do that again. Something like that. I want to keep my stitching showing because that's just another level of dimension. So I'm just trying to have a bit of a look here. Yeah, I don't mind that. I think I will though cut that off in line with the journaling card. Semi-straight. And then we have that on the back, so it sort of matches in, so that's quite nice. All right, so we need to add some glue to that so that that sticks down. The shakes. Right. Line that up. You didn't need to put glue on the whole edge, but that's all right, it just wipes off. Oh, that is so cute. So cute. Okay. Now I'm just humour me. I am just having a bit of a play. I just thought, well, we can use this as a decorative side and then we can use that as a journaling side. What would have been good is I could have put brads in here, but you would do that first before you actually stuck your piece down. I could do it now and glue it down, I suppose. What if we do that and then have a butterfly or something coming out of that? I think I like that idea. I'm going to try that. I think that hole is going to be too big, so I'm going to just use my pokey tool here. Okay, you probably can't even see what I'm doing. I've got stuff everywhere. So I think I want to use like brownie colour brads. Do I? Those brads that I chose, they're just like a gunmetal grey, I guess you would say. So I'm just going to pop them in. Just open them up. Same thing, you don't have to do this. You could have, the frame looked nice as it was. I'm just adding a bit more dimension. It just makes a little bit of a difference. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'll glue this down first. I'm just going to add a little bit extra where the brads are. And normally what I would do, probably use, is glossy accents, but I jumped in and used this art glitter glue instead. So I'm just going to pop that down fairly central to that, and I'm going to have to probably put something heavy on that for the moment. This isn't real heavy, but what if we do that, take the stamp off, and then I'll add that on, and I'm just going to get a butterfly that I want to use. Okay, so you can use rub-ons, butterflies, put them onto paper or something like that, and then just glue them down into this frame. I found a while ago these 3D butterfly stickers, and I actually really love them. They're quite muted, and they've got, you know, they're mainly blues and greens, that sort of colour, and black obviously. But I just found that I use these a lot, and I don't, $2.50 they were for this whole sheet. So when I see them in the cheap shop, I just grab them. I don't know whether you have a cheap shop near you, or a dollar-and-cent store if you're in America, or whatever they call them. But I have used so many of these, and I just love them. They are shiny, but that doesn't really worry me. And I think I like this little one here with the little bit of green. I do like that blue one. I love that large one, but I think it's going to be too big. So let's just have a look. And I'm not going to put it directly in the middle. I'm going to have it sort of coming out of the frame a little bit like that. So it's only got, the butterfly only has adhesive in the middle of it and none on the wings. So it just gives you that 3D effect. I mean, look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous? Just dresses up the whole card. Okay, so we're going to put another charm or something in here. So I had another eyelet here somewhere in amongst this mess. Doesn't matter, we've got more. I'll grab another one. So with these cards, you can do any theme you like. I just love botanicals, and that's just what I seem to gravitate towards. So that's what I'm using. And I like this word imagine. I just think it just sort of adds to the whimsical feel of this card. So I'm going to use that in this one. So I need a couple of split rings again. And look, honestly, you could add so much more. Like you could add cheesecloth. I could have added cheesecloth, and actually I might even add cheesecloth and a label on the back here. And this has really sort of glammed this tag up a bit. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for some split rings. Pair of pliers. So just beautiful. I don't know about you, but I think I do love this. So this is doing the full glam. We're going to add a little bit of cheesecloth, why not, and a label. So I've got some coffee dyed cheesecloth here. Let's try and get to the end that I've already cut. Just very randomly cut it. And we'll get another Tracy Fox label. Let's say protected specimen. That'll do. Okay. I'm really having trouble trying to find everything in amongst this mess. All right, so I've got way too much cheesecloth, but what I like to do is I like to have more than not enough, and I just pull away the edge, and that just gives you more texture as well. I don't ever leave just a square. So that looks way too much, I know, but I'll just show you what I do. So we'll just let that grab for a second. Put a couple of tools away so that you can actually see what I've done. All right. And then what I like to do is you can even just use a tool, one of these pokey tools or whatever you've got, just to sort of more often than not, I like to just, you know, just use my fingers and just really pull away the excess, and it just gives it a really messy textured look. Look at that. And the fact that it's over the tag as well, I don't care. It's all sort of knotted there now, so it just gives it another dimension. So that is the fourth tag. Now, where are my other ones? Here. Okay, so let's go through them and show you. So here is our very basic stage. I'll just pop these in these little crates out of the way. Very basic. I've got 10 minutes to craft. If you've pre-prepared, even if you haven't pre-prepared your bases or your journaling spots, it doesn't take long to cut them out. And your tabs, very basic, still really nice, very simple. I would put them in my pockets in my journals, no worries. I wouldn't have any qualms with putting some of those plain ones in there. Everything doesn't have to always be decorated, so that I wouldn't have a problem with having them poking out of a pocket. Next step, we have just stepped it up a little bit further, and we've added maybe some torn edges to the journaling spot just to give it some texture, a botanical and a label. You could put a butterfly, you could do anything you wanted. You could just do labels, whatever. This one I've left the back plain, and this one I've added just a very basic botanical and a label as well. Beautiful as well. So then next we've stepped it up to adding a label with cheesecloth underneath and a botanical, torn edges. We've got a charm. I've left the back of that one plain there, and then we've stepped it up again. So we've done a cluster of labels and little miniature tags. We've added some aged tape. I've got a chipboard what do you call that, heart. We've added another charm. I've added some paper lace. I just love the look of that. And the back's plain. Once again, you could dress that up as well. See, that's what I love about these swivels. Even though these charms are double-sided, you can still, it swivels quite easily around to the back. So that is another step up. And then we've gone the full glam, and we've done stitching on the journaling spot. We've done texture stamping in the back, like it's a field of flowers. We've added botanicals here, a frame with a little butterfly, 3D butterfly. We've got another charm that says imagine, and then we've got stitched journaling spot, aged tape, cheesecloth, and another label. And you see that lace there, which is a different color from the back, and it matches in there as well. I absolutely love them. So once again, I got the idea from True Joy Home and Studio. I have just done my own thing with them. So I will put her YouTube channel down below if you want to go and check it out. So there you have it, 5 different takes on the same piece of ephemera. So I'd love to know in the comments which version is your favorite, and if you'd like to see this done with other pieces like envelopes, pockets, tuck spots, belly bands, let me know. I think it's probably going to be a really good series, and great for, as I said, you know, people that are just starting out, people that want a little bit more. Yeah, I just think that it will be a great series. I will only be adding to the series as inspiration hits, or as my creative time, as I get creative time. So if you want to see anything in particular, pop it down in the comments. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. It really helps me and my channel grow. So thanks for creating along with me, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Until next time, guys, take care, and I hope you get a little bit of creative time in. See you soon. Bye-bye.